Right, well, what we're trying to do is make sure that over a period of time the club is owned by the community and the fans, so that what happened 2 years ago and what happened in 1962 won't ever happen again. Now, of itself, buying shares won't change anything overnight, but if along with buying shares all the other things that we're doing come into place, and so far in 2 years whatever we said we'd do, we've done. So along with all the other stuff that's happening, by making sure that lots of shares are owned by lots of people, no one person will be in charge of the club and no one person will be responsible for the decisions. That's really what this is all about. You know, I'm from here, this is my town, and I'm very proud of being from Accrington. And wherever you go, everybody knows Accrington Stanley. And I don't know of a better way of being prouder of Accrington or where you're from than the football club. And by making sure that we can have an ambition beyond simple survival, it gives us all something to work for. And then on top of that, the only way that we're going to be able to afford what we want to do is by having bigger crowds. So when you add those two things together, it means that we must have a new home. Just to let everybody know what that means, if we sell the number of shares that we want to sell, the club will raise about £1 million. At that point, I've said already I'll give all my shares away. So everybody who owns shares will get all of my shares. And then the club will be owned by everybody, not by one person. And then the money that I hopefully will still have, if I haven't lost it, a couple of £1 million, we'll make 3. So I'll put in 2, the club will put in 1, and we'll have enough to be able to build our own home. So that's really what we're trying to do. As far as your question is concerned, shares can be owned in joint names, that's fine. So if you want to jointly own a share, then obviously you can do that. The other thing I should have said earlier is that the club will come up with a payment plan, so that if you were minded to buy a share as a present and you didn't want to pay for it straight away, you could pay for it over the course of a year. And so you could pay for it on a monthly basis. But quite a few people want to buy them for this coming Christmas as presents. And so if you do give someone a present, you can then buy the share, instead of £100, you could buy it for 10, and then keep on paying the rest, and then over a period of time that share can become yours. Legally, the ownership of shares can be in anybody's name. So a child, a minor, or anybody can own a share. But the purchase of the share, if the person is below the age of 18, has to be made by their parent or guardian. So if you were minded to buy something for your child, you would be the one to make the purchase, but the share could be in the name of the child. One of the things that has been said about the club in the past is that there wasn't representation. So the change that we've now made is that every single share is the same. So your shares are the same as mine or anybody else's. Every single share will have the same voting right. The other thing that we're doing is that we've changed the basis upon which the board is selected. So previously the board was only selected by the major shareholder. Now we've got one person on the board who represents fans, and we're going to invite anybody who wants to be a director to apply, just like anything else. And we'll have 2 directors out of 6 who are representing the fans. So along with the shares, the fact that we've got fans on the board will help. But can I just make one point clear? The club still struggles. So the club still doesn't survive unless it gets a subsidy. So the share issue doesn't mean that I'm suddenly going to stop. Even if we sold those shares that we want to sell between now and Christmas, we wouldn't be able to meet our costs. So I'm still there, and our kid sitting there, he's still there. We're not going away. We're going to stay with the club. It's just that this helps us make sure, because we don't owe anybody any money anymore. So whatever we sell in the shares won't, go wasted. So I think that's quite an important point. And so between now and Christmas, we're going to focus on Accrington and the Pennine Lancashire area. I was just having a chat before. If we sell a couple of 100 shares, 200 shares, I think we'll have done really, really, really well. Now, obviously, 200 shares is not a lot, but that's what we're trying to do within the Accrington area. Then we have fan clubs that are dotted around. And so early next year, we're going to start selling shares within the rest of the United Kingdom. And then hopefully, as the year progresses, we might also sell shares outside. That's why it's going to take a little bit of time. If we had more money and we had more resources now, we'd be advertising this all over the place, but we don't have those resources. On the website after Christmas, there'll be a place where people can say, I'd like to buy or sell shares. Now that should give people a market. And then the second thing is, which is more important longer term, is that these shares are the same as my shares. In the past, we used to have A shares and B shares. We used to have more votes than less votes. And the club directors used to make the decisions, not the shareholders. So by changing that, which we've now already done, that should help as well. So a combination of these things mean that we won't be able to, even if I wanted to, we won't be able to do that anymore.